You are now listening to the Bullseye Podcast, brought to you by AFI Advisors. Sit back, get comfy, and keep all arms and legs inside the vehicle when in motion. And now, here is Josh, Peter, and Brian.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bullseye Podcast, brought to you by AFI Advisors. This is the first episode of 2025. I'm your host, Josh Shores. I'm the Director of Marketing here with AFI Advisors. I'm here with Brian Brummett, Portfolio Manager.
Yes.
I'm still
a portfolio man. No one's let me go yet.
I just, the year changes, so I just want to make sure that nothing's went crazy.
Yep. Portfolio Manager.
Nothing's went crazy.
Finance extraordinaire, all of that.
We have a really special guest with us this morning. I think this is a cool way to start 2025. We're going to dive into a few things with our friend Mindy Sams.
Hi.
Mindy, good morning.
Good morning.
So a little about Mindy. Mindy is the Senior Account Executive at Edwards, Tipton & Witt Insurance.
Yes.
Yes. Look, there are a gazillion things.
I was going to say,
here.
do we have to read everything that she does?
I won't read all of your superlatives, but I'll hit a few. Longtime ambassador. You're actually the 2025 chair this year. No pressure. I heard the guy that did that the last couple of years was a bum.
Big shoes to fill. Big shoes.
Not really.
A lot of cleanup.
You are set up for, the bar's really low right now, so you'll be fine.
No, I think it's a great program.
You're also helping with Petworks. You are the chair of external affairs.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, on the board of
And
directors.
a board member, yeah.
Yes.
Leadership Kingsport, class of 2023.
Best class ever.
Brian, do you want to chime in here?
Mine was better, but...
When were you?
2024. Yeah, 2024 I graduated.
So I'm the odd man out here, clearly.
It's a good program. We got to go up to Nashville and do that whole thing. I went to my first hockey game.
Did you guys do the same things?
No, because we went to Brush Creek State Penitentiary. Brushy Creek. That was a lot of fun.
I wanted to do that. We didn't get to do that, but we did go to Nashville and we did go to the hockey game. And
did you get the tour through the Capitol after hours? That was really cool.
It was awesome.
Was it kind of like Night at the Museum kind of?
Yeah, nothing really came to life.
Oh, okay.
But the eyes did follow you.
But the eyes did follow, yeah. There's a lot of history in that building, the Capitol.
Yeah, it was really neat.
It was really cool.
Well, Mindy, thank you for being here. I know that we want to talk about Petworks, but we also are going to talk about some insurance and finance. So we'll do the Petworks first because, people don't want to sit through all the boring stuff, right?
No. The gloom and doom.
So you guys both are pretty heavily involved with Petworks, and I have known of Petworks, but I have never really been heavily involved other than, going to events and helping out here and there. So I took a field trip yesterday to Petworks. Went and met Mindy there because I've never even been in the building. I've driven by, but I've never been in the building. And I was kind of blown away when I first walked in because I didn't know the scale, first of all.
Right.
You walk into this big facility and it's laid out really nice. You've got like little petting areas and like a cat colony. And it was really neat. And then you could see all of like the swag, which is the stuff I like because that's just what I do. But it was just, I was really impressed when I walked in. And then I'm kind of giving you all a visual tour here of what's going on. So once we got over the grandness of the entryway, we went to visit the cats. And Mindy, how many cats are in that facility there? There's a lot of
cats. I'm not really sure how many. I want to say that it ranges between maximum 80 and 150, somewhere around there.
Yeah, depending on...
Well, there were so many cats, and
it's funny, cat season alone lasts like 10 months out of the year. And one cat equals, 80 cats by the end of 2 years or something like that?
I think in a year they can...
It's
52,
wild.
I think, is the statistic.
Mindy's doing great with all the statistics. I can help with the numbers or the maths.
Okay, so we go in this room full of cats, and they're all just really eager for us to be there. They
Yes.
clearly are very curious, like, hey, who's this bearded guy walking around with a camera? And we were able to get some pictures. We were able to love on some. Some obviously didn't really want to be bothered, so we just let them be. But there were some really neat cats there. I'm not a huge cat guy, but Mindy, you're my witness. I was loving on the cats.
You did.
I was petting them. I was
Awesome.
talking sweet to them,
I was
sweet nothings in
surprised.
their ear. And then it was time to go see the dogs, because that's what I'm about, right? Well, let me tell you, it was great, but it was so loud. Those dogs were super hyped that I was there. I just kept walking around with my hands up, just listening to them.
The cats looked excited. The dogs sounded excited.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the tour of that. I saw it all, but there's a lot of animals there. I guess that's another thing that was pretty eye-opening to me, because I wasn't aware of the scale again on not only the building, but how many animals were actually there. So I know that you guys both are pretty heavy into Petworks. Brian, do you want to share a little bit about kind of your thoughts and feelings?
Sure. I guess what really drew me to Petworks was that I've always felt like homeless animals were treated worse than the worst of humanity. They're put in small cages, they're viewed, they don't really get all the interaction, the love, food might be an issue, water might be an issue. Petworks was the first establishment I walked in, and it looked like they were trying their absolute best to give those animals the best life they could while in the shelter. To the point where they had identified one of the biggest stressors in an animal being adopted would be the person picking them out, then transferring the animal to a veterinarian clinic to get spayed or neutered, and then transferred to this new house. It's a very stressful thing for the animals. So Petworks even created a vet clinic inside of Petworks, and we have a vet that's starting soon.
Yes.
That will be able.
There'll be a vet on
There'll
staff.
be a vet on staff.
Cool.
So we'll be able to do all of that without having to transfer the animals around,
Yes.
which greatly reduces the stress. It's that level of attention to detail and caring for the animals that really drew me to it, and that's why I'm really proud to be part of it.
Right. And with the vet on staff, the goal eventually is to be able to offer spay and neuter to the public.
Yeah.
At a lower cost. So
Absolutely.
we're really excited to hope for that to
How
come.
much does that cost? I haven't done that in 13 years.
When I had Maggie, I believe it was like $150 or something to
Yeah.
have Maggie done.
But you multiply that by all of those animals,
Yeah. It's a
plus
lot.
the transportation costs right now. All of that's going to get reduced, and then that way money that's coming in can go towards things that it's not able to right now.
Right.
That makes sense. I do want to kind of check the stats here. We're looking at some information from July 2023 to June 2024, and these were kind of wild to me too. So in this time period, there were 2,006 animals that entered the Petworks shelter, 853 of those being dogs, 1,153 of those being cats. So right there, we can tell them cats are getting after it.
Yeah, they are.
Some of these other main points, 146 pets were reclaimed by their owners. Sweet. Awesome. 1,011 pets went to new homes. Sweet. Awesome. 326 animals went to foster homes. I've always wanted to do that, but I don't think it's for me.
You know who this is on a
Because I'm never home.
Yeah, on a side note, one thing that I will say is kids that have fostered pets at home almost always get that brought up when they put it on their resumes for
Really?
school or work. Yeah. Even to the point where I've had doctors tell me that they've fostered cats before, and that was almost exclusively what was talked about in their job interview.
Well, 136 of those, last but not least, went to a rescue. So here's one thing I want you guys to talk to me about. I looked over to the right, and there's the reports from the animal control officers. Holy cow. So 721 animal welfare checks, 175 injured animals and emergency calls, 83 animal bite investigations. What?
Right?
395 deceased deer picked up from the side of the streets of Kingsport.
And at any given moment, we only have 1 to 3 animal control officers at a time,
Yeah.
like on staff.
So do you guys think these numbers are normal? Are these
Yep.
low? Are these high? I
These
don't
are
know.
normal for us.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
these are normal
Okay.
for us. And if anything, they've been increasing.
Mhm. Is that
Absolutely.
just due to the amount of animals?
The amount of animals, some of the processes that we've put into place through Petworks that have allowed us to get animals out quicker.
Yeah.
You figure every animal stay costs the shelter about $420 per animal. So the quicker we can get them in and out, the quicker or the lower we can get that number. And again, the more money can go towards other things that it's
Yes.
not able to right now.
Yeah.
I'll add the deer pickup. A lot of folks don't realize that that is something that is done by our animal control.
Let me explain this better. I don't think
Okay.
I did. So deer, it's like anywhere a deer has been, hit by a vehicle or however they end up dead by the side of the road.
Yes.
And it's not
That's
just deers. It could be raccoons
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's any kind of
It's anything an animal control officer would do in
Right.
road pickups.
Yeah,
and stuff.
they're housed out of Petworks.
Yep.
And that is this for the city of Kingsport animal control.
and I know that's always been that's been a pain point for a while, right?
Yes.
It is a pain point, but anytime the city's a big supporter of us,
Mhm.
and anytime that we can do something to help them or legitimize money that they're willing to give to us to help these animals,
Right.
we're willing to go above and beyond in order to help them. And that's what this stems from.
Yes.
It's just us trying to do the best we can for the community that's helping us out.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but is there a way? I mean, come on, it's 2025, right? Let's be real. Is there not some kind of a machine that you can like put on the back of a vehicle and
So
like,
yes,
yeah.
we've got pickup trucks with a mounted, essentially a crane.
Right. Recently.
Recently,
Oh,
put on it, so
yeah.
that can
Okay.
help lift it up,
Right.
which is helping, of course, with the backs and legs
Yeah.
of the animal control officers
Yes.
and making life better for everybody.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know why. That just seems like, my brain tries to fix problems
Yeah.
and that just
Yeah.
seems like a normal
No, that seems
solution.
that was.
No.
I think that was you stepping in.
That's where I was going with it.
I am so sorry that we just like chewed up your whole talk time.
It's fine.
The things that Mindy is doing is actually a skill set that I don't feel like many people actually have. She can go out there and talk to people in a way that actually has increased the amount of donations that have been coming into the shelter. And up until recently, we have a big gala once a year
Mhm.
that really is their primary fundraiser for Petworks. And up until recently, they've been kind of putting it together in the last few months leading up to it. Mindy hit the ground running the week following last year. So this
Yes.
one coming up is going to be significantly different in the fact that it's been planned for an entire year.
Well, you almost have to do that.
You have
and
to.
I think that Mindy's probably kind of learned that from our chamber event. So,
Yes.
so you got to start early.
Yep.
But I went to the fur ball last year, which is what you're referring to. And
It was
I had
a lot of fun.
I had a great time. Everything about it was great. And I won the silent auction, the tickets for Rhythm and Roots.
Nice.
So I was pretty pumped about that, which I used this last go around. It's fun. I wore a fanny pack.
He did.
No, seriously.
He did.
Like in my mind now, anytime you're out of work, I'm going to imagine you in a fanny
I saw it. It happened.
Where do you wear your fanny pack on the front or on the back?
So it depends on my mood. I started out wearing it in the front and then it just felt very in the way. So I went more with like the side hip. That seemed to work well.
I
didn't-
figured that would like brush my arm against if I was.
I kind of had it on my back hip.
Okay.
I didn't feel comfortable having it all the way back because I didn't want someone
It's a
stealing
love
my
handle
stuff.
pack. Huh?
It's a love handle pack. But let me explain. I had, I didn't want to have like my keys, my phone,
Right.
my this, my that. Because when you're there, you're like running all over the place. And I was like, well, I don't want to take a backpack in. I don't think I even could take a backpack in. But I was like, you take a bag in like that, people think you have a bomb or something.
Right.
So it was like, I'm not doing that. And like, it's time. It's time to bring out the fanny pack. I had to go to Bass Pro Shop to find one. They're actually harder. They're harder to find than you'd think.
I didn't know Bass Pro Shop sold those.
Well, I got a North Face one.
Okay.
So if I want to use it hiking or just anywhere a dad would wear a fanny pack, ball game.
Around the house.
Around the house.
Grocery store.
Keep my hard candy in when I'm doing laundry.
Tissues.
Okay, let's get back on track. Kind of sticking with Petworks here. You guys have the 2025 calendars.
Yes.
That are still being sold. We have some here in our office. If you want to come get one, they're $20.
$20.
$20, yep.
Tell them about the calendars because there's a lot of moving parts to this.
There is.
And I will butcher it.
Yeah, I will too.
So how this kind of came to be is we had folks at our fur ball last year at our silent auction to bid on having their pet photographed and featured in our calendar, one for each month. And so we sold those at the auction, then had the pets photographed professionally. We put the calendars together, had them printed, put them up for sale. They are also a raffle. So it's a calendar/raffle. So when you purchase your calendar for $20, you have a little code inside of your calendar when you open it, and each one is different. You register that, and we have a drawing for cash prizes. That is actually happening next Friday, the 24th. So
Ooh,
if you want one,
it's exciting.
It's
now's
time.
the time, and you have to register it by the 22nd. So,
But we will continue to sell calendars
yes.
after that if you want
Yes.
a calendar.
yeah.
Well, it's really neat because for the folks who aren't familiar, the concept of having local people have their animals featured in a calendar is really cool. So,
What was wild is actually going through there and recognizing a couple of the animals. Yeah,
well, hey, I know
that was
that.
really, yeah.
I know that dog.
That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
One of them is the owner of Boops and Beans.
Yes.
That's opening or opened.
They are opening.
That's what your cup says.
Yes, Boops and Beans Cat Cafe. So
Put that up there so everybody can see it.
April Carter and her husband are opening this cafe tentatively the end of March. So we are super stoked.
I'd love to go back and revisit. Let's revisit some of the events happening this year for Petworks. I know that there are many throughout the calendar year, but let's kind of focus in on a couple. You've got Furball, and you've got the actual. Is this a new event? The
Yes.
David Goggins 4x4x48 charity challenge.
Yes. So this gentleman does this challenge every year and chooses a different charity. This year, he has chosen Petworks. So what this 4x4x48, it is, you can run, hike, bike, or walk 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And this will be held on the Tri-Cities Crossings property. So folks camp out, their RVs are allowed there, tents, all kinds. I'd never heard of it until now. So
That's awesome.
yeah. But it's $50 to enter and a bag of dog or cat food. And that money goes directly to Petworks. So
That's awesome.
Can I just give you all some money?
Yes.
yes, you absolutely can.
100% you can.
We will take your money.
I don't know that I'm made for 4x4x48.
That's a lot.
That is a
No.
lot.
4
I mean, if you really
hours,
break it down, it's a lot.
Maybe 1x24x0.
like a 4 mile hike in a day, and I'm good
Yeah.
in a day.
So how do people get signed up for that?
If you have questions about the event or you would like to sign up, you call or text Sam Snyder or Michelle Snyder, and I have their telephone numbers as well, and we can post
Read it
those.
out loud.
We read it? Okay.
Let's put them on blast.
All right. 423-794-9545. Sam Snyder.
There
And
you go.
they can use Venmo and PayPal. They also get a T-shirt and a meal on the Saturday, the 23rd, with the donation.
Okay, before we get too far removed, let's talk about this year's Fur Ball. I know there's a lot going on with that. When is that event? What can people expect? And where can they sign up?
Okay, so that event is April 5th at the Metaview. It is a Saturday. It will start at 5:30. That 5:30 to 7 is the silent auction cocktail type hour. Dinner will begin at 7, and we will have live music. And there will be a few live auction items to be auctioned at that point during dinner. that is a jazzed theme this year. We are all jazzed up for pets is what we came up with.
Nice.
So you can wear whatever you like. You can dress up in some kind of jazz era if you like. You can, whatever you're comfortable in. We just want you to come have a good time and bring your checkbooks and your credit cards. So, but the silent auction will be held for about an hour and a half, and there'll probably be 75 to 100 items for folks to.
Yeah, I
bid
remember
on.
there being a lot.
Yeah, a lot of local businesses and folks donate baskets of things, and so we're very blessed there. We were actually meeting and discussing some of that yesterday. There are also opportunities for sponsorship. Folks can be our signature sponsor for $5,000, and that gets you tons of media and, of course, 10 seats at a table. There's also other opportunities for sponsorship, and they're on the Petworks website, which is petworkstn.com. So.
Petworkstn.com.
Yes.
So we have these events, and those are all fun, but if we kind of scale back a little bit, there are other needs daily that Petworks is in need for. So I wanted to talk just briefly about how folks can get involved, maybe on a more like granular level.
What I like to tell people regards to how to help the animal shelter is, first of all, we need resources. So if you have money and you're wanting to give it to the animal shelter, we do put it to good work, and we are very effective and efficient with how we use it, and it is tax deductible. And if you need a sheet of paper showing your accountant or whoever that you did give that to Petworks, just reach out to me. I'll find it and send something out there to you showing that you did do that on a charitable level. That if you don't have money and you want to help, come volunteer. There's a ton. If all you can do is go down there and love on cats, the level of help that gives those cats is amazing. They're stuck in these cages all day. Having somebody come in there and love on them, that might give them the mental stimulus they need to make it until they get adopted. It's very important to keep them socialized. If they're happy to see you, they're more likely to be adopted.
Yeah.
So keeping them happy, and that's huge. People have skills. If you have skills, like Josh is a great marketer, and if he wants to help Petworks, there are ways that you could use your skills to go and help Petworks. Mindy's done that. I'm trying my best. But give your skills. And if you can't do that, talk good about us.
Yeah.
Simply going out into the community and saying Petworks is doing what they can to help animals, that's going to, instead of the person going and buying a dog from a breeder, they might come to us and help one of our animals instead. Right. Maybe they have money or time that they can give. Talking good about us and helping us create a positive view of the shelter and the community is huge. Yeah. So those are the three big things you can do. If you are going to donate money, the best way to do it is doing it through unrestricted funds. So if you gave money for a specific thing, it's greatly appreciated. But a lot of times that money in other charities primarily will end up in an account that's just waiting for a situation to happen where they can use it.
Sure.
If it's unrestricted, we can use it on whatever needs we have at any given moment.
Right.
There's nothing more disheartening than having money set aside in a charity, needing money, and not being able to use what you have.
Right. No, that's a common problem, I think, for all nonprofits.
Every charity I've ever been involved in has had that.
It's always been a problem. And it does stink to have that money sitting there and you can't touch it.
Right.
I do want to hit on the items that are most commonly needed. I do have this up on the screen, but there's some people that won't be watching the video, so I'll go through these really quick. Obviously, we covered the monetary donations, but they also need wet food for dogs, cats, and kittens, dry food for dogs and cats, kittens, and puppies. They do prefer the Purina brand. Don't blame them. Cat litter of the non-clumping kind, laundry detergent, bleach for laundry, cleaning supplies, towels and blankets and pillowcases, but maybe nothing with stuffing. That makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Hard chew toys for dogs, toys for cats, leashes, regular and slip leads, collars, especially martingale collars. Word. This needs to be said too. Items we do not use, because I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't have looked at this. So comforters, Afghans, quilts with stuffing,
Because it seems nice, right?
Yeah, I would
but it's
in
the
a
same
heartbeat.
reasons we don't want the stuffing. Yeah.
Pillows, fitted sheets, newspapers, plastic grocery bags, stuffed animals, and stuffed dog toys.
If it helps, guys, there is a theme of those things that we don't need.
Yeah, if you're not putting the pieces together, anything that has stuffing or can be shredded,
Yeah.
Then we don't want it.
just use your head on that.
Yeah.
So if folks are wanting to get involved with Petworks, whether it be helping with an event, if they want to donate, if they want to volunteer, what have you, where is their first go-to spot?
I would go to the website or
Okay.
call the shelter and
Okay.
talk to someone and say, hey, what opportunities do you have available right now?
Okay.
But there's always opportunities. I mean, even if you don't want to volunteer on a regular basis, they have opportunities for doggy day out.
Mhm.
Go help walk the dogs. I mean,
If you're very interested in it, we will make sure that
Mhm.
you have an opportunity
yes.
to
and-
help.
And there's trainings for volunteers to help clean. They can
Mhm.
help love on animals. There's so much that has to be done on a daily basis there. And so you could really help in any way.
Yeah. Reach out to Petworks. If you're uncomfortable doing that because you don't want to talk to new people, you're welcome to call me, and I can hook you up.
Brian at afiadvisors.com.
Advisors.com.
So, Mindy, we're really glad you're here because a lot of things that we do sometimes crosses paths or has some sort of ties with typical, insurances that you're involved with. So,
Mhm.
really what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a second and I wanted to kind of let people know what insurances are out there that people should just top of mind be aware of.
I mean, hands down, health insurance. That's your medical, dental, vision. Life insurance. That's huge. Auto insurance. That's a given. I think in the state of Tennessee, it's a law, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's required.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know, I just have it. So, homeowners insurance. That's a given. And of course, if you're a renter,
Renter's
That's
insurance.
huge.
Yeah.
you don't want to lose everything you've got in a house burned down that you're renting. You lost your house and your stuff. So there's short-term and long-term disability. A lot of employers offer that. And then long-term care, that's a huge one, and liability insurance. So
Yeah.
there's a lot. Health insurance, of course, is imperative. A lot of employers offer it. And that's something that's kind of my wheelhouse is group health insurance. And I love working with folks on that and companies. But a lot of employers offer health insurance, or you may have to go to the marketplace online and do healthcare.gov to have it. I mean, we all know how much healthcare is, how expensive it is to go to the doctor, how expensive it is to buy prescriptions. So it can offset those costs for you, which is great. I mean, huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you don't have health insurance, and you're like, well, I'm healthy, I don't need it, whatever. You never know. Accidents happen all the time, and you can be $3 million in medical debt,
Yeah.
by one
Mhm.
thing happening. So health insurance is imperative to have.
When it comes to life insurance, you had sent me a list of what we were referring to as kind of common misconceptions. And I really wanted to take a look at that. And if you don't mind, would you care to read off just the common misconceptions and then maybe go back and dive into one or two?
Sure. One of the first ones is life insurance is too expensive. It's not worth it. It is. It's much more expensive to not have it, I think, because someone is going to have to pay those final expenses. But another one is that if you're healthy and you're young, you're single, you have no dependents, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't need it. That's another one that insurance that your employer offers. A lot of employers will offer a group life, which is like a $25,000 policy while you're working there. And folks will say, well, I've got it through my employer. I don't need anything else. That is also untrue. Maybe I have a pre-existing condition, or I'm not old enough, or maybe I'm too old to have life insurance. And that's not necessarily the case either. And a lot of folks are like, well, I'll just get something online. That's never the best deal.
I think I have a fear of insurance because I feel like it's an area I don't know as much about. So I feel like that leaves me kind of vulnerable to be taken advantage of.
Yes.
And I feel like there are people that do kind of get taken advantage of in the insurance world.
Yes.
No offense.
No,
Not throwing shade
I mean,
at
it's
you.
definitely something
It's
that's been
true.
talked about a lot over the last couple months. Yeah.
So it's just, I find a lot of similarities with that, with also what we do. There's a lot of terms, there's a lot of jargon, there's a lot of options.
There is.
And it's not stuff that people are just, have on their radar. It's not stuff that people are well educated about.
Right.
I'll say folks who say they're either too young, they're healthy, single, or no dependents, or they stay at home, they don't have an income to justify having a life insurance policy. There's always an unexpected event that can happen at any time. Illnesses, accidents, and, for example, someone who stays at home, they do have a full-time job. Say they're taking care of children, they're taking care of a home. No, they don't monetarily bring in a paycheck, but something happens to that stay-at-home mom. Dad, who works full-time, is going to have to pick up the pieces and pay for childcare, pay for all these things that he didn't have to before. So, it is important for everyone to have life insurance. Children, it's a hard conversation to have, but when babies are born, I say, get them a policy. Just a little Gerber $10,000 policy, do it. When they're, and you can turn it over to them when they get to a mature age that you feel confident doing that. Also, like if you're healthy and single, somebody's going to have to come up with those final expenses. If you're single and you pass away, so say your next of kin, your brother or whoever, somebody's going to have to help compensate those final expenses for you, whether it's funeral, just whatever it may be. So it is important for you to have it, whether you're single, married, it doesn't matter.
Well, and I guess one way that I justify it in my head is with what you were saying about, well, someone might not be bringing in an income, or a child's not bringing in any income. Whatever you do, if you're a human being, you are going to have an expense when you leave this earth.
Yes.
There's no way about it. Now, it can be bigger, it can be smaller, but the one guaranteed thing is there's going to be some kind of an expense. And usually, people are not equipped to just write a check. And even at the smallest amounts, I mean, how much is even a funeral now? Like $8,000?
No.
Like 15?
Yeah, 15 to 20 for an actual service.
Okay.
And to Mindy's point too, it's not just the expenses when you leave, it's the value that you're currently giving that's not going to be there anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, for your children, that's a gift that you can give them later. Even grandchildren, you can take out policies on.
Right.
And then say they're 28, married, and you feel confident in their financial situation. You say, hey, I've had this policy for you. I've been paying it on all your life. I'm going to turn this over to you now. It's yours. So, and then they can take out on their own as well and add to it. And that's one thing I have folks ask me too about policies. Well, I have this just little $10,000 policy my parents had when I was little. Do I just need to let it go and get a new one? No, don't ever cancel a life insurance policy. Just add to.
The way we tend to handle life insurance here at this firm is we do advise people to have it. As soon as they come in and we start going through, we go through their debt levels, we go through their insurance needs, we go through anything that they need on the finance level. And then oftentimes we bring Mindy in to talk to them, or we send them to Mindy or whatever, because it's very important to us that the people that we refer others to hold to the same standard we are.
Sure.
And Mindy's very, very competent and very empathetic. So we've really tied to her quite a bit, and we'll recommend her for anybody needing life insurance or any insurance.
Anytime groups can work together, it only builds the customer's whatever to a higher standard. I mean, it's you're growing your team. You've got a group of people around you that are communicating, that are kind of working toward the same goals. So that collaboration is really important, and we do utilize that often. Mindy, you've made it.
Almost.
I'd like to introduce you to the lightning round.
You listened to our podcast before and heard the lightning round?
I have, and don't unfriend me on Facebook because of my answers.
Too late.
Yeah,
I
was going to send you a friend request if you did it right.
So here we go. I've got 3 questions here. This is a fun way for us to kind of end the day. Morning, rather. This is a fun way for us to kind of end the morning. So I've got 3 questions for you. Now, the key is to answer them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
We've had some awkward moments where there was a lot of dead air, so...
It's a lightning round, not a thunder round.
I can always count on Brian for something just ridiculous. So, whenever you're ready, do you need to, like, take a drink?
Let me take a sip of coffee.
Do you need some tissues? I have some tissues over here.
Just coffee. That's all I need.
Just coffee. Okay. All right. Question number 1. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
To be able to teleport. I love to travel.
Okay.
And I don't like the time it takes to get there.
You like to be other places. You don't enjoy travel.
No, I don't want to sit for hours and hours and hours and hours in airports and all that. I just want to go. I just want to get there.
That's what he's saying. You don't like getting there.
You don't like traveling. You like being other places.
Yes, makes sense.
Teleport. That's a great one.
I love that one.
Yeah.
We've
Okay.
not had that one.
Okay. Question number 2. This is specifically in your wheelhouse. Who's better, Amos Lee or Ray LaMontagne?
Oh. Okay, Ray LaMontagne. I had the chills and all
Brian's
the
like,
things.
Yeah, we're going to have to Google some stuff later.
These are both musicians.
I was like, they're obviously football players.
Yeah.
Duh.
They're part of the NBA.
Like,
and
obviously,
they
they're
play
T. I think Mindy likes UT. I don't know.
Clearly quarterbacks.
Very clearly. I knew they were not business owners, CEOs, economists.
Okay. All right, here we go. Third question. Final question. See, this is easy,
Yeah,
right? This is
right.
easy. Okay. If you could meet 3 people, living or dead, who would they be?
Oh gosh. My grandfather on my dad's side. I've never met him. He passed away before I was ever born. So I've heard stories and I'd love to meet him. I would love to meet Snoop Dogg.
Snoop?
Heck yeah.
I don't
Who
know.
wouldn't?
He just
Right.
seems cool.
I think he is.
Seems cool. He defined cool.
He's just the universal cool now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
love to just chill with Snoop
He's
Dogg.
America's mascot.
Right. And then probably, gosh, I don't know.
Dead air.
Dead air, thunder.
We'll be right back.
Chris Stapleton. That is just one of the artists I like. I don't know.
I love it.
Well, Mindy, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the work you do here in the community, for Petworks. Brian, thank you as well. I know both of you are heavily involved and make me want to be a better person.
Well, thanks, Josh.
You're
Why don't you
welcome.
volunteer at Petworks and give
Yes.
us some money?
I think I'm going to go to the website. What was that website again?
Petworkstn.com.
Petworkstn.com. All right. Well, Mindy, thank you again. I want to let everybody know that next episode will be our 2025 New Year predictions. And no, it's not going to be in February. We're getting the tail end of
We need
January.
to limit how many predictions we can do since we figured out how to exploit the game last year.
That's true.
So, like, limit us to like 3 or 5 or something.
3 or 5. we will get the official rules figured out, but absolutely stay tuned for that because we did pretty well. You all did pretty well. I did horrible at my
Together we did well. Peter did well. I did well.
I did awful at my 2024 prediction. So I'm going to come back with a vengeance in 2025. And listen, I know everybody's wondering if Travis and Taylor is still going to be on my hit list. They are. I've got a whole conspiracy. So you all come and listen to the next episode and you might find out what that is. But thank you for listening. We really appreciate having the opportunity to spotlight some of these places, organizations, and some of the great people that are involved with them. So Mindy, thanks again.
Yeah.
And check us out at afiadvisors.com. Follow us on all of our social channels, and we will see you later.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bullseye Podcast. Do you want to sponsor the show or maybe even be a guest? Contact us at connect@afiadvisors.com to get the conversation started. Thank you for all of the continued support.